This right here is my little pot of seconds. The stickers in here have very minor imperfections on them. For this one, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but they've got some slight scuff marks on them from when I laminated them really poorly. Some of them, the imperfections are so minor. They might have a little scuff mark on them or something. So if ever I print or cut something that's not quite right, I will stick them in this little pot and I can use them as freebies. I also include a business card in every one of my orders, and I like to design my business cards like trading cards that offer a discount code. And once I run out of this design, I won't be restocking it. I'll be designing a brand new trading card with a different character. Maybe Clover should be next. What do you think? Hello everybody, and welcome back to my studio. For those that don't know me, my name is Charlie and I'm an illustrator and designer. I work part-time as a designer at a children's book publishers called Make Believe Ideas, but I also run my own Etsy shop selling cute stickers and prints. And today I am launching this design. It comes in a matte laminate, but also a sparkly laminate too. Today I thought I'd take you behind the scenes and show you how I take my product photos, how I edit them, but also how this particular illustration came to be. But first, let's take some product photos. As you can see, I have nothing fancy in my photography setup. I don't have a light box, I don't have a fancy camera, I just use natural sunlight, which honestly can be a bit hit and miss in the UK. I also use my phone to photograph because I don't have a really fancy camera to take photos. I do have this camera that I am recording on now, but although it's really good for video, I've actually found that for taking product photos, my iPhone works better. I do have a moffed tripod for my phone, which is really handy for taking photos and also recording video. And talking on video, you might have seen this. This is just a case that my business cards came in, but because it's like so smooth, I just pop my phone in there and it kind of works as a bit of a stand. So when I've got it on a tabletop and just move it around, it glides in a much smoother motion than if I was to be using my hands, which honestly can be a bit shaky sometimes. I do apply a bit of image stabilization afterwards in post-production, but this is as simple as it gets. I just like to utilize what I have while I'm experimenting, and then if I find that I'm needing a bit of an upgrade, it's at that point that I will do it. But for now, this is working just fine. In terms of editing my photos, I think a lot of this has been trial and error while I've been posting on Etsy to see what works and what doesn't. So this is still very much a work in progress, but I use the Adobe Creative Suite to edit my photos and create graphics to go alongside them. So for editing my photos, I do use Adobe Photoshop, but there are so many amazing free editing tools out there, or other alternatives that you could use. You can even edit photos directly onto your phone. So I'm only using the Adobe Suite because I have access to it and I use it a lot for other design work and things. So it's what I'm used to, but there are alternatives out there. When I come to edit my photos, I like to just import the original file first without scaling it or anything, do any color adjustments first. I have created sort of a folder of adjustment layers things like curves, hue and saturation, brightness and contrast, all these things that I can then tweak the opacity of those layers. Because, as I say, I don't have a light box, so the lighting when I'm taking product photos from one day to another, it's not consistent. So I may need to go in and like manually tweak things, but this makes it so much easier for me. So once I've made my colour adjustments, I then bring that photo into the template. So I've got templates for the size of my Etsy listings, but also anything like Instagram post sizes, Instagram reels, that kind of thing. So I have all of those templates already set up, and then it's just a case of bringing those edited photos in and making them larger, making sure that the actual sticker itself sits really nicely within that new frame. So I ended up being a little bit creative with this one because I found it so hard this morning to photograph the sparkly one without it having any of the sparkles on the face or the text. So I ended up merging it with the file of just like the matte one over the top, and I used sort of blending modes and opacity and some layer masks to get rid of the sparkle in certain areas. And I think this has really helped because it gets the sparkle across. It's still a photo, but I've now got two. I've got one which is the matte one there, and then I've got the sparkle one. To go alongside the photos, I also create these graphics where I include a little bit of my branding. I use visuals of the stickers and I create a little sort of bar along the bottom and the side to show the dimensions, and any extra information down the bottom is highlighted in just clear text. Things like what it's laminated with, like the laminating style, whether it's hollow or matte laminate. I also have this really big as a title at the top so that it's the first thing that you would see after the image, hopefully. But yeah, I think it's a nice way to bring a little bit of branding in, and I have a landscape version of this for Etsy, but I also have a portrait version of it now where I upload to Instagram on my feed. So if anybody is coming across the photos, they can swipe along and also get any information they want. I think it's so important to be able to include this information. So in my product photos, you can kind of gauge the size of the sticker because I always have the same backdrop using some of journals and they're kind of stacked up. So that's a little hint without it cluttering up the photo too much with washi tapes and pens. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I do create photos like that and it's definitely something I used to do, but I'm trying to scale it back a little bit. So with those journals, they introduce a little bit of colour, but also hint a little bit towards what size the sticker is. But these graphics really hammer it home. It's clear as day, like what it actually says is written down in millimetres, so it's really clear for the customer. And now I've got my template size visual document. I do this in InDesign just because that's what I'm most comfortable with, but I'm sure that you can do something similar in Canva or other software, whatever you like to work in. But I have these ones. These are for Clover the Frog. And I just use these ones as a base because Clover comes in all sorts of different things. We've got sticker sheets as well. So I'm just going to delete the ones we don't need for this file. So we're going to have those two, and we're going to update all of this information. What's handy about this document is I've also got my brand colours here, so I can just easily change all the background colours and things. So for this I've just brought in the PNG print file, really, the exact file that I've used to print from. And then I always have to remind myself what I do. I do 30% opacity with my drop shadow. Okay, so this one's actually a little bit bigger, so it's a pure circle, which makes things much easier than when I'm measuring Clover the Frog. So these stickers are 60mm by 60mm. So I just update this to be like that. We can delete Clover now, bye Clover. And then I just drag out these ruler guides. Oh, let's make sure that he's kind of centered. Say he, is he a girl or a boy? The moon. I'm gonna change this to say matte. And then we just have a look at the colours. I really want to go for this blue theme. Do I go proper night sky? That looks not very good. Wow, that took a lot of tinkering, but I finally came up with two options that I enjoy. Now I just need to apply the sparkly effect to this PNG. I did it! I went in and basically adjusted the textures, and yeah, now you've got a sparkly version. You can barely notice a difference. My goodness, that was half an hour's work. So these are now listed on my Etsy. I'm really pleased with how these stickers have come out, and actually I have ordered some more laminate, ones with little stars on, so I will be experimenting with that when they arrive. But for now I've just got these two options. I wanted to talk a little bit about how this illustration came to be. So this is the full illustration as I drew it. As you can see, it's got a really starry, galactic style background, which I had so much fun with. Just brushes I haven't used in ages, and thought it was a perfect opportunity to create that kind of starry background. I had so much fun with it. But I almost didn't create this full illustration, and here is why. So on April the 1st of this year, you are probably aware of the Artemis 2 launch, and all of the hype around it, and loads of high resolution photos of the moon were circulating around social media. I have since found out that these photos were taken, I think 2 years ago now, but they may have been like in a publication. Either way, they kind of went viral, and they are so beautiful. I will link the Instagram handle down below of the person who has taken these, and I saw these photos circulating at the beginning of April and got so inspired, because who knew? I thought the moon was just grey and different shades of grey, and then I see these photos and there's so many different colours in there, and I got so inspired and thought, this would be so cute. Obviously, in true Charly style, I can whack a face on it. I can make it really vibrant and colourful. I just could picture it so clearly in my mind using these texture brushes as well. So this is my old iPad. And as you can see, this was an old illustration of mine, but I really wanted to have that kind of starry night look to it. And I started sketching it on this iPad, but by that point, it just couldn't handle it. This is a 2018 iPad, if you weren't aware or hadn't seen my last video, and it served me well for so long, but I was absolutely due an upgrade. So I'd actually sketched out this illustration on that old iPad and went to colour it, and my iPad could not handle it. But then my amazing husband, for my birthday on the 6th of April, got me my new baby, my new iPad, and I've absolutely loved it. So after I drew my pressed flowers sticker sheet, which was the first thing I drew on that iPad, I then brought over this sketch into my new iPad because I could finally colour it. However, by that point, I had seen so many illustrators on Instagram had basically done the same thing. They had obviously seen these same moon illustrations and had the same thought as me of, oh, I really want to draw that. That's so amazing. Look at the colours. I need to draw this in my illustration style. And they had already done it and posted it before I could even reach the colouring stage. And everything in me just thought, well, what's the point now? Because all of these amazing illustrators have taken this inspiration and it's already been done. Why on earth would I do it as well? I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way, but I just think to myself, if it's already been done, why would I also do it? Now, obviously, there is a thing there about like copyright infringement. I'm not talking about taking the exact same idea and copying it. I know that this is a grey area, and something as simple as the moon, there's only so many ways that you can draw it. It's a round ball-like object. But having the same inspiration and then doing it in your own way, in your own style, I think that's completely valid. And I thought, you know what, I've been really passionate about this idea. I'm just going to go with it. I'm sure that whatever I do will be different in its own way to whatever else is existing already. People are always going to be inspired by similar things. Not every idea that you have has to be purely unique and never been done before. Original ideas are fantastic, of course they are, but don't be put off creating something just because somebody else has had similar inspirations to you, because the way that you go about it is going to be different. I'm having a little bit of trouble articulating my thoughts in a really concise way today, but I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't need to jump on a trend just because it's trending, but if something is trending that aligns with the work that you do and you're passionate about it. For example, when I saw these moon photos, I just felt compelled to draw this moon, and I had this clear vision in my mind of how I wanted it to look right from the off. I knew what brushes that I wanted to use, what colours, and I knew that I wanted to include a face on it, obviously, and a cute little quote. And I genuinely thought, oh, this is going to be so unique. Nobody has done this yet. And then honestly, within that week, so many people had the same idea and were much quicker than me about it. Thanks, iPad. And the fact it started trending kind of put me off a little bit. I thought, why am I going to add to all of this noise? What have I got to contribute here? You have your own ideas, you have your own lived experience, you have your own passions and hobbies and interests. Stylistically, you have your own taste in colours and whether you go textures or vector. There's so many decisions to be made, even in a simple illustration of a moon. And there's so many ways that I've seen people interpret this same idea based off a reference photo that was posted a couple of years ago. So I would urge you, if you do have an idea in your mind and you just think, well, it's not that original, it's been done before, if you can put that fear aside, obviously don't copy what somebody else has done exactly, but if you can take the idea, if you're passionate about it and put your own spin on it, bring your own taste, bring your own lived experience, then I think there is space for your work out there. Pardon the pun. So yes, I know having a face on the moon is not original. Now having a colourful rainbow moon is not original. But what is original is the way that I've gone about it. I haven't seen anyone use this quote on there. I really wanted this to be a positive affirmation sticker. When I saw that the moon was essentially rainbow colours, where I thought that it was grey for so long, I thought that was definitely a metaphor in there somewhere. I'm not the best at articulating what I mean, but there's something so lovely about the idea that us as people, we could be grey for so long, and then something sparks inside of us and we just release this colour, and it was there all along, just people couldn't see it. So I really wanted to create a quote that would represent that alongside this colourful moon illustration, which is why I went with light up the sky with colour, because we can light up our world with colour. As cheesy as it sounds, I'm really behind that sentiment. So I don't have an aesthetic video of me drawing this because quite honestly, I drew it while I was in my pyjamas in a dark sort of lamplit room in the evening. It was a beautiful vibe, I will be honest, but not one for YouTube. So I have got this time lapse that I would like to show you. also I created a little lock screen screensaver with this illustration. If you are interested in also having this as a screensaver for free, it is available on my Instagram. If you head over, there's a little story highlight called Wallpapers. So if you go on there, you will find this in there. If you press and hold on that highlight and take a screen grab, then you'll be able to have that as your own lock screen. Thank you so much for joining me in my studio today and joining me on the journey of how this moon illustration came to be. If you did make it to the end of the video, please leave me a moon emoji in the comments below for obvious reasons, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.